Hi, I'm Ross from Crimsmith Property Accountants in Hamilton, and we're just going to go through a standard rental return. It was the first new build that I could find, just looking on Trade Me and just looking what the cash flow is going to be like. We're going to start off with the first year and then look what's its expected cash flow over the next 10 years. And obviously, we don't have a crystal ball. No one knows exactly what's going to happen with interest rates or anything like that, but just trying to give an idea based on Reserve Bank predictions what it sort of could look like. So we've got this standard property. The first one I found, Lower Hutt, found it this month, so May 2024. It's a 2-bed, 1-bath, brand new property. It's 565,000, and it's just relatively recently listed. So I'll just scroll up a little bit. So yeah, there's normally some costs to buy. There's normally some legal fees. There's normally some other costs. There could be a valuation. You might get a building inspection. So I'll put some costs in for that. And you're likely to get some sort of bank contribution back from the bank. Just to make it simple, I've got this two being the same amount, so you cancel out. I have put in zero money, $0. Whenever I do my numbers, I always work on 100% debt. If you're putting in money, you want to get a return on that. And it's the easiest way to hide what the real property is like is having a whole lot of cash into it. So showing up with 100% debt, it shows what the real cash flow is. You can't hide it. It shows all the bad things. And then second, you can look at it if you're going to put some cash in, how it will work for you. So yeah, buying this property 565, borrowing 565. The article was the developer or the real estate agent selling it, and I don't trust developers, I don't trust builders, I don't trust real estate agents. So they're saying 670 a week. If I got serious on this, I would look at that. I would talk to 2 or 3 property managers in Lower Hutt and ask what's the demand for a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom? What's the location like for them? What sort of rent would they expect? Talk about the property with them. And what you do is actually by talking to them, you get some real information. You might get, oh, yeah, little comments like that, little pauses. They show that there's an issue or problem. Whereas an email back with just the rent, you can't pick that up. They might tell you, hey, actually, there's no demand for 2-bedroom. Everyone's looking for 3 or 4 bedrooms. They might say you need a car park and there might not be one, or you need a garage and there's not one, or there's a huge demand for fully furnished. You can find out a whole lot of information. So if you're getting serious, always actually talk to a couple of property managers. Lower Hutt, Wellington, a bit harder to rent at the moment. So I've gone 51 weeks. 51 weeks at 670, 34,000. 34,000 divided by 565 purchase price. It's a 6% gross yield. Generally, Auckland, you're sort of in the high threes, maybe 4. Hamilton, Tauranga, Wellington, Christchurch, the main sort of areas, main cities, you're generally about 4% in the 4%. The further you get out from the cities, you start going up to 5 or 6%. So this is actually quite a high gross yield, and it's because it is a townhouse or a duplex. It's joined together. It's not standalone. So obviously you're getting a higher cash flow or high yield for that because of that. But what you're obviously doing straight away is 6.05%. Your interest rates at the moment 6.9%, so we're going to be negative straight away. I've then got different expenses. So there's some shared areas, and it might not be a body corporate, it might be freehold, but there's some shared areas. There's going to be driveways, paths, gardens, shared costs. So there's going to be some sort of body corporate or some sort of owners association. So I've allowed for that. Insurance is a bit higher, Wellington and Christchurch. I've got property management in here. I've got interest at 6.9% on the full mortgage. I've got some rates. New build, generally I work on $500 repairs. The first 10 years, you shouldn't have a lot. I've got some education. Maybe you join your local property investor association. A little bit of travel. Let's say you're in the same sort of area. So we've got 34,000 in, 50,000 out. We're losing about 15, 16,000. Generally, if you're a long-term property investor, we're going to recommend value it. We're going to recommend that they come in about $500, do a chattel's valuation. They'll value the carpets, the curtains, the dishwasher, the stove, the heat pumps, the fences, the decks, the driveways, the paths, all the different chattels, and you'll get a depreciation deduction for that, which is basically spreading the cost of those chattels over their useful lifetime. I've just made up the $7,000. Because we're in a loss, that's basically going to add to the loss, giving us a tax loss of 23,000. If this is our only rental, that loss is just going to carry forward year after year after year until the property is making some profit. And that's called ring fencing, and that came in from the 1st of April 19. You can't offset that loss against your PAYE income or your business income, but you can offset it against other rental properties. So from this is looking really, really average. We're losing 16,000 a year. I then sort of think, what's it going to look like over the next 10 years? And obviously we don't have a crystal ball. Property on average goes up 6.3% a year in the past. So over the past, you'll see flat boom, huge increase with COVID and a bit out of whack, and we're in some sort of flat period. So at some point, you'd expect property to go up again. No one knows when that is. No one generally guesses it right. None of us have a crystal ball. But yeah, you can see where in the past, 6.3%, it's always sat on that green line or close to it. So based on the past, you'd expect property to go up in the future. There's no guarantees. Like I say, no one has a crystal ball, but you might expect a bit of a flat period, then slowly up. So yeah, I've got my capital gain, pretty much nothing slowly going up. Rents go up 4 or 5% a year, and that's been the case over the last 20 years. Inflation, we're obviously is below 5% now, and we're hoping it heads down maybe towards 3 or lower. Interest rates, even a bigger guessing game. 6.9 at the moment, maybe 6.15, then 5.5, maybe going down to 4.5%. Reserve Bank has put out their idea of neutral interest rate at 2.5%. There's generally about a 1.4% margin, so that would be 3.9. I've just gone a little bit more conservative, a little bit higher. And off the Reserve Bank's prediction, they're expecting the OCR to stay higher and then come down. So yeah, we're sort of expecting some sort of drop. Exactly when and how, yeah, so difficult to know. Back in August, they were expecting 3 drops at 0.25. Yeah, it's just all over the place now. A little bit wait and see. At some point, we're expecting interest rates to go down, but not sure exactly what, and I wouldn't gamble on them too much. So what that means for property, our 565 property, we're hoping goes up to 880 over the next 10 years. That's obviously, yeah, gambling on the capital gain, hoping it goes up. I've done interest only just to make it easy. Rent slowly go up 34,000 to 50. All our expenses go up over time, and I've got interest rates, yeah, slowly going down based on those predicted interest rates from Reserve Bank. So what we're looking at is a loss of about 16,000, slowly getting more even, and it's not until year 5 that we're starting to make a cash flow profit, hopefully, and slowly building up over time. This was actually better than I thought. Most new builds I look at are actually worse than this. This isn't as bad as I thought. Because of depreciation, we've got a loss all the way along, so we're paying $0 of tax and not making a taxable profit. Our overall cash flow over 10 years, we're going to be looking at 2,500 expected cash flow interest only over the next 10 years. So about $250 a year. So realistically with this, we're gambling on capital gains. We're hoping this property goes up over time. This is my second property I've done, for example. It's a new build. I've got some examples if it's existing or older, but we're basically looking interest only, $245 average cash flow per year interest only is what we're expecting average over the next 10 years. If you have to go P&I, about 8,000 negative. So the cash flow, not as hideous as I thought it might be, and not as bad as I thought it possibly could. But you do need to be aware of what's the cash flow in the next 3 years. So this is my example number 2 in the middle. It's 32,000 negative over those first 3 years. So you'd have to put in 10,000 a year. So to me, this property is definitely not as bad as what I have seen, but it's also not amazing. I wouldn't be jumping to buy it. I'd be worried about, yeah, how realistic that rent is. I'd be worried about the quality and things like that and what it really looks like, and what the area is going to look like over the next 10 years. Car parking, yeah, shared areas, things like that. Generally, I haven't looked at this one specifically, and they don't have a plan of the parking that, but generally there's not enough car parks to go around. So that would be a big downside for me. So yeah, to me, like I say, I wouldn't buy it. No way. But it's not as bad as it could be. And as long as you can get through that 3 years, it could work for you, but you're definitely gambling on capital gains. The cash flow is not there, and that's pretty normal in property. Good things about it, it is new. As long as they've done the heat pump properly, it should meet healthy homes rules. Double glazing, warm, dry, all those sort of things, low maintenance, which is good. So yeah, you can see why it is appealing to some people. Like I say, just to me, average. Not hideous, but not amazing either. So hopefully you found that useful. Hopefully it's given you some things to think about. Thanks a lot. Bye.